Hey, did you know that you can make bourbon in Kansas?
Yeah, from what I've heard, you can make it anywhere in these here United States.
Not just Kentucky.
Not just Kentucky.
What we've got here is a little distillery in Dodge City, Kansas called Boot Hill Distillery.
And I'm looking forward to it. We've got a tiny little bottle, but in an effort to show you that you don't need to buy the big bottle to figure out what it tastes like, you can always get the smaller ones.
Yeah.
So, if that sounds good to you, sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Go! Hell of a week.
Hell of a week.
What was it? What do I say? Welcome. Yes. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, theys and thems, to the Savor the Bourbon podcast. My name is Jonathan, and to your right, Mr. W2, how do you do?
Doing good. It's good to be back here.
Oh, yeah. It seems like, you have a 3-day weekend.
Right.
And next thing you know, it's like you're a hot mess. Just a hot mess. Ready to get back into the routine of things. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're doing here. With this, like you heard the man say, Boot Hill Distillery's bourbon whiskey coming in hot at 90 proof, which that's not really that hot.
No. Especially not these days.
Not these days.
It's not 149.9.
Our palates have been polluted. Ruined. It's like you think Metallica's heavy until you listen to 6 months of Cannibal Corpse, and then everything else is just it's a lot like that. But the music it's so fast, so technical, so
mesmerizing,
so metal. Yeah. You get lost in there. So what can you tell us about this here whiskey?
This is a little sampler taster bottle that my in-laws picked up for me. They love to travel. They go all over the place.
Okay.
My father-in-law is really big into minor league baseball, and they love to visit minor league baseball teams and all that. And they found themselves out in Dodge City, and they ran across this little distillery called Boot Hill Distillery. It's in Dodge City, Kansas. And they got me, I'm sure you've all seen me wear the shirt. I've got a shirt that says Kansas Whiskey on the front of it. Mm-hmm. And they got me a bottle of bitters from there. And then this little taster bottle of their bourbon whiskey. And so we're going to get into it. I've got a little bit of info on them. It sounds like a really cool distillery. Might warrant a trip there.
Yeah, sometime. You said before we recorded, you said it was like 2.5 hours away as the crow flies. But not as the W2 drives.
Not very far.
Or me, for that matter.
Not very far at all. So
you talk, I'll pour.
Let's do it. So this is Boot Hill Distillery. This is a bourbon whiskey. It's not bottled and bond. It's not straight bourbon. Mm-hmm. It's just their bourbon whiskey. There is no age statement on it, but it does come in at 90 proof. So I think we'll find some good stuff on there.
Yeah.
It says, we put new meaning in farm to table. When father and son, Roger and Hayes Kelman, purchased the historic Dodge City Municipal Building in 2014, their area of expertise included farming corn, wheat, milo rye, and soybeans. As a fifth-generation farmer, Hayes has always looked for original means for vertical integration and new uses for the grain he and his team grows. Now Boot Hill Distillery exclusively uses grain grown on Kelman Farms, 50 miles west of the distillery, to produce its spirits. After harvest, the wheat, corn, and other grains are delivered to the distillery, where we mill, mash, ferment, and distill on site in our historic building. When we then transport aged spirits to our rick house to rest. The building's location atop the original Boot Hill Cemetery weaves past to present, and today a different type of spirit inhabits Boot Hill.
Which is pretty wild. I've never heard of anything like that.
That's pretty wild. Yeah. And then it goes on to say, Kansas's first soil-to-sip craft bourbon. We fill our new charred American oak 53-gallon barrels, that's good to hear, with new make whiskey using our 51% corn and 49% wheat mash. So there's no barley in this. This is just corn and wheat. While the new make was created from our own grain in about 14 days, we knew we wouldn't be seeing or tasting this whiskey for a long time. Time and patience bring you a Kansas bourbon worthy of the Boot Hill name. Hot, dry summers and bitter cold winters do the rest. What emerged from the barrel after its extended sleep exceeding our expectations with notes of caramel, fruit, and spice. Coming in at 90 proof, our bourbon possesses the ideal balance of flavor and heat. It's got a little burn on the nose.
When you edit this, you'll see me go like, eek.
I mean, I think that's one of the things that I really do enjoy and have enjoyed about this podcast is all the different whiskeys we've tried. We've tried some in the 80s. We've tried a lot in the 90s. And then you bump it way up, and we've done one that on paper was 149.9, but was told that it was probably just a little bit over 151. That's quite the gamut of proof.
Yeah.
And I have to say, for this being 90 proof,
yeah, it's got a little bite to it.
We've had a lot substantially higher proof that does not burn the nose like this one does.
It just makes me wonder what causes that. You guys know? So on the nose, while you were finishing your reading, I took down some of my own kind of nosing notes here. I got oak right off the bat. Oak.
A lot of oak.
It's got like a dried kind of grain scent to it. Dried fruit.
Yep.
Honey mead.
Okay. I was gonna say green apple, maybe.
Kind of mead you get from you think green apple? I'll write that down. And just your baking spices. Green apple.
Yeah,
which is
I
great.
agree with all that.
I mean, you don't expect to find, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Did you say vanilla?
I did not.
I'm getting a little bit of vanilla.
Are you?
Those are some thick legs. Now here's the nose notes that I have. Caramel, green apple, leather, vanilla, cedar, and black tea.
Huh.
I don't know if I'm getting the black tea.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit.
I don't know if I'm getting the cedar either.
Yeah.
Or either, as some people say. Either. I'm ready for the palate.
Let's do it.
The bite continued.
There's the leather and there's the cedar. It drinks pretty smooth.
The honey mead for me carried through. Spicy.
It is spicy.
It's only got so it's only corn, only wheat. There's no rye.
And I would
such a spice on the palate.
I would swear there's a rye spice in there.
Yeah, it's wild.
What about mint? I'm getting a little bit of spearmint.
I can follow you there.
The notes I have say toffee, baking spice, caramel apple, bran cereal, and pecan.
Watch, we're going to pick up bran on the second nose.
Yep. Easily.
Yeah, so leather, cedar, honey mead, spearmint. I don't know. For me, like front and center, and corn. I'm picking up corn on that.
The finish on this is nice and warm. I mean, you're getting a little bit of a Kansas hug there.
Kansas hug.
Definitely no strangleholds.
No, definitely not.
It's
not the KC Strangle. Yeah, long and warm.
Oh, what is that?
And just oak on the tail end, and still honey. For me, I don't know if I finished this thought earlier, but for me, the overarching, the main character here on stage in front of us, for me, is that honey.
Yeah.
I don't know what they did to it.
I think the honey
happened, but
I think the honey follows on through in the finish. And for me, I get a little bit of oak mid palate that carries right on through and then opens up on the finish. So I get a lot more oak towards the end of that.
I wonder who's buried on that cemetery. that I would hope that they, for respect of the dead, they exhumed, moved to another place.
Gary, is that you?
get it. SpongeBob, whatever. No, don't touch me. Bad, Gary. Oh, you were doing the SpongeBob laugh. Okay. That took way too long. Like I said, it's been a long week. And it's only Wednesday.
The finish notes say honey.
Perfect.
Honey finally shows up in the notes.
All right.
Baked goods, herbal tea, and oak.
I don't know. I drink a lot of herbal tea since I've been off the caffeine, but I don't know. Are you picking up an herbal tea? You guys drink herbal tea here, don't you?
By suggestion, I would have agreed with the black tea on the nose.
I would agree with that on the finish.
I would say there's something on the finish.
It's like some kind of tea.
If you were to
herbal / black tea.
Throw a tea bag in your mouth and...
Here we go. You go camping with this guy one time, and he never lets it go.
Family show.
I don't know. I mean, you bite down on it hard enough, and it stretches like... You remember the dog on Joe Dirt? When he had to come in there with a spatula and work him loose? It's kind of like that, only never happened. #LOL. Have we been camping? We haven't been camping together. Okay.
Do you like to camp?
Sometimes. And so when it comes to bottle presentation, we had to pull up pictures on like Google Image to take a look at it. When you look at the full-size bottle at the pictures you can find on the internet, it's your standard, shouldered whiskey glass, something you could find with, it's close to this, right? But the shoulders are less tapered.
Look over your other shoulder and pull that
Where are we at?
West River. It's a little bit more shouldered, I guess.
Yeah, like this is your standard kind of whiskey bottle.
Yeah, I mean, it reminded me of that one. I don't know if it just maybe the label did, but yeah, this is definitely a little bit more shouldered.
Yeah, this one here has like little to no taper on the body, and there's a bit of a beveled kind of edge around the bottom of it, which probably means it's got a good punt. This one here, for being such a small bottle, that's a pretty good punt. But, I mean, you get an idea. When you get a smaller bottle like this, you get an idea as to what it is that you'll be getting into if and when you think about getting the larger bottle.
And if I remember correctly, I think I saw on their website that the full 750 bottle of this goes for like $56.
And I would guess that was like...
Now, if they had a cask strength version of this...
Oh, yeah, cask
for like 65?
Probably blow this right out of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was the slogan on the front? It's born from a barrel, forged in the dust. Is it dusty out there in Dodge City, Kansas? It always looked that way on the old westerns.
Yeah.
You ever been to Dodge City, Kansas?
On the plains.
On the nose?
Flint Hills?
It was better.
Is that
than
considered
average.
Flint Hills that far west?
I don't know. Like, whoever said Kansas is flat has never been to the Flint Hills, and they are beautiful. Like, it's really weird to me how you can be driving down the Flint Hills, that highway, I-70 running straight through it, and then on one side, it's green as can be, and on the other, it's just brown, you know? It's like whoever said it's green, it's not greener on the other side of the fence is not driven through there.
Have you ever driven through when they're doing the burning of the fields?
No.
I don't know if it's an annual thing or every couple years. They actually light the fields and burn it down.
Okay.
Which then actually enriches the soil and kind of replenishes all the minerals and whatnot back in the soil. And so, I feel like it's not every year that they do that, but
you'd run into problems if you did that.
A photographer buddy of mine had a chance to go out while they were doing that and got some just incredible photos with just all this hazy smoke and the fire kind of making trails through the fields. And I mean, it's dry, it's windy. You got to know what you're doing out there. Otherwise, you could find yourself in a big problem.
Sorry, the face wasn't about the story. It was about, you said a word that sounded eerily close to my ex-wife's name. So I scowl.
We won't.
I don't even eat at the restaurant that shares the same name. Bitter, table for one. That's me.
Second nose isn't bad.
All right, is that where
And that's where, the brand
showed up?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Some kind of what's the arrow am I thinking of? Shredded wheat.
Shredded wheat?
Mm-hmm.
You remember the shredded? It's a lot of honey still.
Yeah.
You remember the shredded wheat? I think there were mini wheats, and they had
sugar on one side. Oh yeah.
No.
Oh.
No, they had raspberry filling in them.
I do remember those.
Yeah, it's too bad they don't make those anymore. What'd you give it on the first nose?
On the first nose, I gave it 3.5.
3.5.
Yep.
Wow, I gave it a 4.25.
All right.
I was like, I was wowed. So I thought, well, that's at least a 4. And when I came back and I counted up all the things we got vanilla, oak, grain, dried fruit, honey mead, baking spices, green apple. I was like, that's at least worth a 1/4 point. I mean, it's no Booker's, but it's made by Jim Beam lineage. It's definitely tasty. So yeah, that's why I gave it such a high score. How about the palate?
On the palate, I gave it 3.75.
Very cool, very cool. I'm a 1/4 point above you. I did come down on the palate because for me the palate had less to offer than the nose did. We still came up with you came up with leather and cedar. For me, the honey mead came through. You picked up on spearmint. I picked up on corn. There was something spicy in there. That
reminded me of
doesn't show up on
rye.
the mash bill. Yeah. But I liked it because it reminded me of rye, and I think this would be a fun candidate to try for an old fashioned, just to see how it works. Yes, but something that requires more of a bite to it, to really fully enjoy your drink. You know what? I bet if you put this in a whiskey sour, a bourbon sour, I bet this would be a stellar candidate for that.
It has enough burn on there, which has me thinking. There is no age statement on there. Mm-hmm. It is not a straight or a bonded bourbon.
Right. And it was so light in color.
Yeah.
I mean, it might just be a 2-3 year age statement, I would think.
Yep.
Was that what you were thinking?
That's exactly what I was thinking. Which is young. And,
it is young.
And that's going to give a little bit more of a spicy bite.
Yeah, maybe that explains.
Nose and palate.
Yeah, maybe that explains all that. So, we are learning just as you are learning. Give us your fantastic little tips of knowledge and wherewithal in the comments. Send us email, info@savortheburn.com, w2jonathan@savortheburn.com, and just check out savortheburn.com. We've got a lot of stuff to offer in there. Yeah. Moving on, finish. What did you give it on the finish?
I gave it 3 3/4.
Okay, so I kept it locked in at 4. For me, the finish, I didn't get a wow on the finish. I was like, I got a off the finish because I did not expect that honey or honey mead kind of flavor to go all the way from nose through the palate into the finish. I was by it. I was by it. Yeah, but we picked up on you got the Kansas Hug, long and warm. Reading my handwriting sometimes is scary. I thought it said Larry and Worm.
I hope not.
Yeah, maybe those were 2 best friends, rest in pieces, sirs. That they had in the cemetery.
Underneath the...
Oh. Hey, Larry, how you doing? Doing all right, Worm. How you doing? And so the honey carried through, and there was some kind of tea happening there. Whether it was black tea, herbal tea, not 100% sure, and oak to kind of finish it out. But you said oak. Actually, let me put down oak. Up there on the palate. You said oak for you showed up mid palate and tapered throughout. Throughout the finish. Final score. No wait. Bottle presentation. Duh. What'd you give it on the bottle presentation?
We've been spoiled with bottle presentations.
We have.
I gave it a 3.5.
3.5. Okay.
Yep.
So all right. So when you're looking at a bottle, and you've got like the classic, whiskey bottle like we just had here with the West River whiskey, or you've got these cool kind of rectangular, semi tapered. Actually, it's not even tapered. It comes in and out. It's flared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a lady. You got so many different kinds of bottles. The bottles that we saw online, they try to have that standard kind of bell shape to them.
Not quite a Rebel,
right?
But very similar.
Mm-hmm. When I was growing up, we called that Rebel Yell.
Yeah. Now it's just
Rebel, which is weird to me. Why did you guys do that? If you know anybody at Rebel Whiskeys, whatever they're called, distilleries or whatever, please ask them and have them contact us, because inquiring minds want to know.
Or just throw a bottle in the mail.
Throw a bottle in the mail.
We'll try it.
Most would. Disappointed! All right, so I gave it a 4.
Excellent.
I gave it a 4 because, I mean, we saw what we saw.
Yep.
I liked it. This is all personal preference, whatever. It doesn't matter. This is all arbitrary numbers. Your numbers are not going to be our numbers.
Nope.
So if you ever do decide to follow along, please let us know somehow, some way. And actually, if you have a bottle of whiskey that you would like to send us a sample of, which may or may not be illegal depending on where you are and state lines and restrictions, and not all laws were lifted during Prohibition, but we can find a way to make that happen, and we can try your whiskey, and we would love to review it.
Yeah.
Whether it's readily available here, there, and everywhere, or maybe you've got a Pappy's somewhere, because we can't find it and we can't afford it. Unless 300 of you show up here on Patreon and do the $3 a month thing.
Then we'll get a bottle of Pappy's.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll find it and we'll pay for it. Where was I here? Bottle presentation. I give it a 4. You give it a 3.5. I like your number. I respect your number, and I agree with your number because I've also been spoiled.
Yeah.
Final number. What was your final score?
Even 7.
Even 7. You really can't go wrong with that.
It's above average.
Average score would be right at 3.5. Mm-hmm. No, 5. It would be right at 5.
Yep.
Sorry. Long week. So 7 is better than 5, so it's better than average. Mine came in at 8 1/8.
All right.
Getting down to the nitty-gritty details. But that's what I came out with. So if you had to suggest this to somebody,
it's a good bottle.
What kind of whiskey drinker would this be good for? What do you think? I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
I know, but I just thought of that, and I thought, well,
I think this would be good for just about any kind of whiskey drinker. I mean, it's simple enough.
Interesting.
That someone new to it, getting into bourbons, would like it. Someone who just needs something to make some cocktails at home would like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it'd be a great candidate.
And somebody that's just looking for something new for a neat pour.
Yeah. And they're a small distillery, which is like buying from a small local artist.
Yeah.
Just like us. And I'm always encouraging people to buy from small business and small,
buy local,
buy small, buy from artists, people that do these things as a crime of passion, so to speak. Always reach out and support that stuff. And just one more damn commercial for you guys to check out. Go to savortheburn.com/shop and or go to Savor the Burn, click that drop down menu, and you'll see in there shop. And you can check out these whiskey tasting glasses, because we do get asked from time to time, where do you guys get these glasses? What makes these glasses so special? And what do you have a whiskey glass that you would recommend? And absolutely, 100%, it's these Glencairn, the original Glencairn glasses. And if you don't get these, they're anything with like a tulip kind of shape to it that flares out and comes up.
Just about any distillery anymore has their own custom branded Glencairn glasses. So you can get Glencairn glasses just about anywhere. Amazon's just a great, inexpensive place to go. And
it's like an online Walmart.
And we have a link to it in our store.
Yeah, and all of our store links, as far as I know, they go to small businesses and small folk. Like you and me, us and them. But we want to support them. And you want to support us, and you want to get cool stuff, and this will 100% enhance your whiskey tasting experience.
Yep.
I mean, you can put it in a rocks glass, a cocktail glass, whatever. It's not going to be the same, guys. It's just not.
No, so I've completely stopped doing that.
So have I.
I will not do a need pour.
And if I have 4 of these glasses now. So if all 4 of them are empty, I don't
wash one out.
I don't have one. I don't have one because they're usually buried under other dishes. Anyway, so yeah, I would agree. This would be a great bottle. This one wouldn't be a great bottle to share, but the whiskey in it that you can buy the full size bottle for would be a great candidate for a bottle share. And a gift. Anybody that's kind of dipping their feet into whiskey, looking for something different. It kind of reminds me of a little bit of the Colorado whiskey.
Oh, the
Yellow Label. No, not something we haven't reviewed. Stranahan's. Have you had Stranahan's?
Yep, I have.
It kind of reminds me of that because it's kind of young, it's kind of hot, and it's got a bit of a honey flavor to it.
Stranahan's, I think, is a little bit hotter.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's been a minute since I've had it, but yeah, I remember it having a little bit more of a bite to it. Mm-hmm. Ouch. That and Tin Cup.
Tin Cup is a good.
Tin Cup and Stranahan's are very similar
representation of a hot Colorado whiskey. But yeah, you said Breckenridge. Colorado knows what the fuck they're doing. But
there's a lot of great things.
We're talking about Kansas today, specifically Boot Hill Distillery, bourbon whiskey.
Dodge City.
I'm sure they have a website. If they do, you might see it down here at the bottom of the screen. If not, Google it. Check it out. And let us know what you think. Send us an email, like we said before, info@savortheburn.com, Jonathan, W2@savortheburn.com. And definitely let us know what you think, or leave us a voice message on Spotify, or just leave us a comment on any one of our socials.
And again, this is the distillery that I also got the T-shirt that says Kansas whiskey on the front of it, and I love that because I live on the Kansas side here in Kansas City, and I saw that and I was just like, that's awesome. That's me.
Every time you wear it, it reminds me of the Dime Bag shirt. It just had beer on the front, and it was like some yellow shirt with, I think it was yellow with black block lettering and. He had his giant cowboy hat on, his fucking redneck as hell, just beer.
I had that shirt this year in Sturgis.
Yeah.
And every morning when I stumbled into the little breakfast lunch house where, you go you get coffee, you can get a homemade breakfast right there. They had outlets who could charge phones if need be, or all the things. And plus it was also nice just to run into people and shoot the shit with other fellow Sturgis
language
goers.
Family show.
But yeah, I walked up there a couple mornings.
This is coming from a guy that talked about biting your nuts on a camping trip.
I walked up there a couple mornings with that shirt on, and it wasn't until after I was halfway through my breakfast that I realized that they were making a reference to my shirt. But they started calling me, hey whiskey.
Oh,
and I'm like, how do you know about what we drank last night?
Yeah.
But I was like, shirt, it says Kansas whiskey.
Reminds me of a certain removed video. I still love it. Right there in the middle of it. Whew, good times. All right. So without further ado, thank you for watching this episode of the Savor the Burn podcast. We hope you had a good time. If you have not heard of Kansas whiskey whatsoever, and you got a friend that's looking for Boot Hill, Boot Hill Distillery. If you have a friend looking for a new whiskey to try out and didn't even know that Kansas has distilleries, look no further than Boot Hill Distillery and their bourbon whiskey. Come clock in at 90 proof. It's what'd you say it was, like $55 for a bottle?
Somewhere in there.
It's not bad. It's mid. It's like I'd call that a budget bourbon. Yeah. It's not your. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, I'd call that a budget bourbon, and So no matter who you are and where you are and what you're drinking, and who you're drinking it with, never forget. Keep on burning.